People of the internet! Welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. I got a video pulled up here. Comes from CBS News, in which they entitled the video, Robots on Verge of Outnumbering Humans at Amazon Warehouses. Of course, it looks like a segment from CBS News. I think I've done reactions to this channel, of course, before. We've been talking about that as of late, folks. AI and robots and things of that nature. The direction, of course, our society is moving into with all these technological advances. Of course, I've been speaking about, not too long ago, we spoke about the, Google VEO, or what was it? Video capabilities, of course, of some of these technologies, folks. So we've been seeing about on the software side, of course, with ChatGPT and this, that, and the other. Now it looks like the hardware side, the actual robots are coming for these jobs. We speak about that as well, too. The workforce, right? The workforce, people are struggling to find jobs, people are losing their jobs to AI capabilities and softwares because these corporations are trying to fine-tune the dollar, preserve their dollar and their overhead and things of that nature. So, but nonetheless, of course, let's watch this clip. Of course, I'll share my thoughts. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
On to Amazon. Amazon could soon have more robots than humans working in its warehouses. The Wall Street Journal reports Amazon nears the milestone after years spent working to automate tasks previously done by humans. So right now, the e-commerce giant has over 1 million robots in its workplaces. So I want to bring in Jacob Ward in studio, technology journalist and host of the Rip Current podcast. All right, we're talking about Amazon's growing robot workforce. What does that mean, and what does that mean for technology and humans doing the work?
Well, this is the thing, right? Amazon since 2012 has been on this path. The pattern has been clear. They've been saying over and over again, we want to automate as much as we possibly can. At one point, this was just, a matter of convenience and efficiency. It is now becoming existential, right? This is a company that really believes it cannot do what it wants to do, to be this enormous, efficient machine, unless it can get enormous, efficient machines working in there. This has led, of course, to some layoffs, right? We've got at least 27,000 people laid off in the last few years. This is, of course, still one of the largest private employers in the United States, but it is definitely the case that they are going to do away with some jobs. The CEO yesterday, talking to Jim Cramer, even said, we're going to be doing, people are going to be doing fewer jobs as we automate more. This kind of thing is just, we can all see where this is going.
Yeah, kind of inevitable. Okay, but I do want to get your take, because you had kind of the first-hand look at some of the prototype Amazon robots. So what does that look like, and how does that shape your perspective on this future with the robots?
Yeah, so about a year and a half ago, I got invited to go look at some of the early prototypes of a whole sort of section of them that was supposed to be one you could basically not require any technical expertise and still program the thing. You could say, go pick up the blue bin, okay, bring it over here, without having to have any kind of, programming chops. So that kind of, casual oversight makes you realize, even though they say we're going to be training up people into new, more technical jobs, not going to be that technical if in the future you can really just say, hey, robot, grab this, bring it over here.
Please.
Please, maybe please.
Maybe.
We hope we're all saying please.
All right, as tech.
Let's pause it right there, folks. Let's pause it right there real quick. So there you heard it. Amazon is on the verge of hiring more robots than actual humans in its warehouses. Some people might look at this as a good thing. Some people might look at this as a bad thing. Some people might be on the fence. Folks, I've been saying this for some time, right? I've been saying this for some time in terms of all this AI technology and the robots and chat GPTs and this, that, whatever the case is. I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not somebody who does believe in the idea of working smarter as opposed to harder, right? If there's more efficient ways to do your job, okay, cool, let's do that, right? There's no reason that we should be breaking our backs and blood, sweat, and tears if we can switch our systems in which we do our work smartly and still get the same results. So some would say that's where AI and these robots come into play, right? My thing is this. Yeah, okay, cool. We can get our robots to do the menial jobs, the jobs that people don't really want to do. So your janitorial jobs, again, this is not degrading anybody who currently holds those jobs right now. But, as a society, as a culture, we do know that, let's just keep it real, we do typically frown upon people who hold those titles, although they are the backbone of a lot of the customer service industry and the things that make our lives a lot easier for those who don't have those jobs, right? So your janitors, your custodians, your, warehouse workers, whatever the case is, there's a lot of jobs that I would agree, yeah, if you could outsource them to the robots, so be it, But in any respect, of course, I still feel like, what are those people then left to do? I know a lot of people. I've come across a lot of people in my time that have worked for Amazon in the Amazon warehouses. Amazon warehouses used to be that job where it's just like, you can pretty much get that job. Like, it pays decent. Yeah, it's a lot of, heavy labor, of course, whatever the case is. I'm loosely familiar with just a warehouse job. I've worked warehouse jobs before, not specifically at Amazon, but I've worked warehouse jobs before, Target, Best Buy. I know what that back room looks like. I know with stocking those shelves and grabbing inventory and packing and shipping it. I'm very familiar with warehouse jobs. I've had my run with warehouse jobs before. So just to understand that Amazon itself, which is the behemoth, right, when it comes to just deliveries and consumer goods, e-commerce, whatever the case is, Amazon is the biggest, if not the biggest, when it comes to consumer goods. Purchasing items online, having them shipped to you, whatever the case is, we're all familiar with that, and it is convenient. But I still feel away, right? Just hearing that a company as large as Amazon, who has the capability of paying people well, let's just keep it real. Like, I'm pretty sure Amazon could pay staff members pretty well in terms of anything that they do there, from the warehouse workers to the guys on the corporate side or the cases. I'm assuming that if you work at Amazon, you should be properly compensated because I'd argue it's $1 trillion company. If it isn't already. If it's not a multi-billion-dollar and $1 trillion company, I'm pretty sure it will be if it isn't already. So it's just like, you have the means to pay humans. Are we just saying that we want to outsource everything to the robots because it's just more efficient? That's where I would say, of course, that's working smarter as opposed to harder comes into play, where you could say, like, all right, cool. My thing is, I've argued this before as well, too, that, of course, the robot's not going to call out sick. The robot doesn't need a 401k. The robot doesn't need insurance, whatever the case is. All the things that the human typically is going to demand when working at a job, I can see why a company like Amazon and any of these corporations will lead more so towards the robots, because they can fine-tune efficiency, right? The robot's not going to call in sick. The robot's doesn't have a sick kid. I got to take my child to school. The robot's just going to get the task done quickly and efficiently and for fractions of the dollar that what you would pay the human. So from a business standpoint, yes, I do get it. My question that I'm posing to all these corporations and then just to us as a society, what happens when more and more of these industries are getting taken over by the robots? That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Like, what happens when the robot is doing your graphic design, the robot is typing up your spreadsheets, the robot is packaging your boxes at the warehouse, your robot is driving your cars, what's the new Waymo? The robot is coming for a lot of industries. We've been saying this for some time now. It's either the physical robots or the softwares of these robots. Again, your ChatGPTs, whatever the case is. They're doing a lot of the jobs that humans used to get paid a decent penny for. My question then is to you is, when a good chunk of the human workforce is overran by robots, what are the humans left to do? Now, some people say, learn another skill, man. Go back to school, man. See, a lot of things, I think a lot of the times people come up with solutions that sound easy and good on paper. Yeah, man, just go back to school. Yeah, man, just learn another skill, learn another trade. It's easier said than done. Everybody's not in the circumstance right now to be able to just quickly learn another skill, another trade, whatever the case is, go back to school, especially if you're somebody who's maybe a little bit older in age as well, too. So maybe you're looking to have a little warehouse job to hold you over until retirement or whatever your circumstance is. It's not as easy to just say, learn a new skill or go to school or whatever the case is. Like, if you've been working at a job 5, 10, 15 years, all of a sudden you're laid off or overran by a robot, what's your next course of action? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's the solution? What happens when a good chunk of the workforce, let's say right now, let's just say the workforce right now of all humans, let's say it's 100%. The robots are coming now for, what was it? I think they just said, 27,000 over X amount of years of how much jobs, specifically within Amazon, have been taken over by software, whatever the case is, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, what happens when 30%, 40%, 50% of the human workforce is taken over by robots and AI? Then what? What is that population of humans supposed to do for work? And then when you start seeing an increase in crime and what are the cases, then you start wondering, what happened? Because people don't know what to do. You've left them no option. People will say, there's always an option, what are the cases? But you see what I'm saying? Like, if you take away people's financial livelihood and outsource it to robots, and you don't have a solid alternative for those humans to do to make ends meet, what are the cases? What are they gonna do when their back is against the wall? That's the caution I'm trying to bring forth when it comes to this topic of AI robots and the workforce, whatever the case is. If we outsource every single job to the robots, what are the humans left to do? It's just my question. Now, of course, folks, this is why I always say as well, too, as a cautionary tale, as a human, being that you see this and you know all of this is happening, yeah, you should be AI-proofing your skill sets. I've been saying this for some time as well, too, and I've been talking to myself while saying it as well, too. Like, if you do something that you feel like a robot can eventually do, you need to start getting creative in terms of alternatives. Some of us are in endangered roles where a robot, slowly but surely, would get to your job. Some of us are a little bit good. Some of us, if you work with your hands, you have some time. If you have a solid trade, you have some time. I would say you're probably in the clear for now. But for those of us that do anything that has to do with computers or the arts, even the arts, like, you better start finding skills that is AI proof, bro, for the long run. But that's just my take. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. Of course, what do you make of this stuff, folks? Are we pro-robot? Are we against robots? Are we coming up with alternative solutions for us humans so that they can still make ends meet? What's the solution, folks? Of course, I'd love to hear it down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys on the next one.